But this day, because I was just coming back from the funeral, about to start the repast, I done had me a little Long Island iced tea. I had it. So when I left the message, I roasted Eazy-E. And I guess that's what he was looking for because I dissed him. So he was like, yeah, you want to be on Ruthless? I'm like, yeah, like, let me hear you bust. So I rapped in front of him live. He was like, shit, you on Ruthless. Handed me a big trash bag full of bud. He threw the bud to me like, well, there go your kickstart. So we're all at Ruthless Records. Diamond walks in, dressed in death row gear. Dressed in, death row hat, death row shirt. We like, oh my God. This is during the fuel of Eazy with his revenge to get back for them all dissing him.
What was your first deal?
My very first official record deal was with Eazy-E. 1993 is when I met Eazy-E.
And now, how did that come about?
Well, I'm going to make it brief. I met Eazy-E through a mutual friend, rest in heaven. My life is filled with loss.
Yeah.
But Richie Rich, the real Richie Rich.
Not the one from Northern Cali?
Not Northern Cali. He was from Los Angeles. The real Richie Rich was my very first producer. So I also worked with a guy, T-Bone, Worldwide Entertainment. So I was destined to make it in Hollywood. So Richie Rich, my first producer, he had contact, I'm gonna say. He had contact with Eazy-E. So after 3 months, I'm in the studio, I'm knocking out 5 records a day. I have like 14 records. I'm like, Richie Rich, you got me in the studio, but we're not moving. We're not having progress. I need to get with somebody. I need a label. I'm ready to go. So time kept going by. This one particular day, I pick up his cell phone. So as I pick up his phone, I'm like, let me see, who do he really know? I saw Eazy-E. So I took the number. However, I gotta say, special love, big shots out to Miss Shari Henry. Because at the time, I'm thinking it's Eazy-E's number. It said Eazy-E contact. However, it was Shari Henry. So I'd always get the voicemail. I'll call the number, and I just get the voicemail. So I just kept rapping and freestyling and leaving messages. I want to say I had about 10 messages. So this particular day, 1993, we were burying my grandmother. It was her service. So I can remember coming home after my grandma's funeral because before she passed, I would always say, I'm going to get with Ruthless Records. I'm going to meet Eazy-E. Because my grandma lived on San Pedro and they would always be at Eve After Dark, Big Lonzo, and El Segundo and Avalon. They would do these concerts in the parking lot. Eazy-E would pull up, NWA. So that was just like a dream. So I manifest on that dream. So the day that we buried my grandmother, I'm already in my feelings. So I said, I'm about to call Eazy-E. My grandma, she not here. But spiritually, she gonna see I'ma make it. So I called the number, the voicemail popped on. But this day, because I was just coming back from the funeral, about to start the repast, I done had me a little Long Island iced tea. I had it. So when I left the message, I roasted Eazy-E. And I guess that's what he was looking for because I dissed him. Shari would save each and every message. I guess Eric didn't have time to listen. But this particular day that I put my grandmother to rest, I got on that voicemail, I roasted him, I dissed him. I'm like, I don't want to fuck with you. You's a buster, you's a mark. I'm coming out in the dark, hanging in the park. Like, I just went stupid. So that day, I want to say 3 hours after I left that message, my phone ring. Ding. I'm like, hello? He like, yo, is this Sylk? I'm like, yeah. He like, yeah, this Eric, this Eazy-E. He was like, yeah, I got your messages. I was like, that's what's up. He was like, what's going on? I'm like, just buried my grandmother. He like, do you know Rhythm D? I like, yeah, I know Rhythm D. I'm from the West Coast. I'm trying to make it. He was like, Rhythm D, one of my producers. I'm going to send him to come pick you up. That day, I didn't even last for the repast. I was like, it's a God. Thank you, Grandma. My guardian angel. I'm like, Eazy-E just called my family like, you leaving? I'm like, that's Grandma. I'm about to get picked up and I'm going to meet Eazy-E. So, my Shari Henry, you will always be a big part of my career and my life. Because if she wouldn't have saved those messages, being Eric's right-hand woman, I mean, Shari was his mouth. Like, she was the motivation, the kickstart, the kick in the butt to get E always ready. So, a lot of love and respect to Shari. So, Rhythm D picked me up. I'll never forget, he came in a Suzuki, probably was Eric's old Jeep he done gave to one of the producers. So he picked me up in the Suzuki Jeep, 1993. We rode to Norwalk. That was Eric's house before he really, well, no, he did have the house in Calabasas. But he had this Norwalk house. That was the kick it house.
Okay.
So he was like, yeah, you want to be on Ruthless? I'm like, yeah. He like, let me hear you bust. So I rapped in front of him live. He was like, shit, you on Ruthless. Handed me a big trash bag full of bud. He threw the bud to me like, well, there go your kickstart. I start selling more weed than a little bit. I was like, now I need to go to the hood. Now I got to set up shop. So with that weed, I start going from the Midtown to the hundreds. I had the weed. Record deal was locked in, and the rest, it was history.
Hold on, go back.
It was
So you got signed to, you got, he said you own Ruthless and gave you a bag of weed?
I'm talking about a bag. And everyone that knew Eric that was around E, they knew he kept, because back then I didn't know about it. I would hear people rapping about it, but he had these licorice papers and he'd always have a joint behind that baseball hat, that ear. And I'm looking at brown papers like, is that stuff they call Sherm? You know, what is this? Because the 90s, it was the early 90s. So we was just smoking white zigzags. We didn't know about these licorice papers.
Yeah.
So yeah, E through me, I want to say hefty bag had to be about 5, 6 pounds. I was on
Oh wow. And now you were part of a group called Gangster Bitch Mentality,
GBM.
GBM. So now this is pre-GBM, obviously, right?
This was the making of GBM.
Okay.
So when he was like, you with Ruthless. I had a mutual homegirl, Big Chan. Shout out to Chan. She was in the Doggies Angels after the original group, GBM. So me and Chan, we were friends, like we all grew up in LA. So people who had the same passion was bound to meet. So I met Chan before our record deal with Eazy. Chan was working with Battle Cat. And I mean, I'm going to take it all the way back. I met Diamond at West LA College. I met Chan from just being on the west side. I lived off Western. She lived off Western. We both wanted to do music. So originally, MC Smooth, shout out to my girl, Juanita Stokes. It was MC Smooth, Diamond, the Lady of Rage, and myself. And we formed our group, the Female Teachers of Hip Hop. Because we was kind of on that you know, back then it was God, all these groups. The early 90 groups, you know,
And this is pre-GBM too?
pre-GBM. The ASCAP, I mean the pre-GBM, the 90s era.
Yeah.
The guy who wore the polka dots and only you, Kwame.
Yeah.
You know, so we were kind of not really into the gangster rap. We were being poetic, like really lyrical, poetic. And so we were the female teachers of hip hop. It lasted about 6 months and then everybody did their own thing and we ended up still being the best of friends. Meeting Chan, we just knew each other through the streets. So right when the Lady of Rage, because Diamond knew Rage, and that's how I met Rage, through Diamond in our group, the Female Teachers of Hip Hop. Well, Rage had got her connection with Dr. Dre, and it was still early in the game.
Was Rage part of Death Row at this time?
She had just got, like, Dr. Dre discovered, ran across Rage.
Okay.
So I don't think the deals were in place.
Okay.
Cause Chan, the Lady of Rage, and Sylk-E Fyne, we was like, by all means necessary. So even before our record deals, they used to have Mental Mondays at the Hollywood Palladium, which was BBD. You know, that was their night, Mental Mondays. We was like, we gonna get in. This club be cracking. All the celebrities go. Hollywood Palladium. So we decided to be top flight security. Rage, Big Chad, Sylk-E Fyne. We doing security at the House of Blues. And that landed us a lot of connections. We met a lot of artists. And we was able to display, we know how to rap, females from LA. So that era, I mean, I had an old little station wagon, a Ford station wagon, back window busted out. Me, Chan, her little sister, shout out to Rich Nets. We would just roll from the west side all the way to Hollywood. We didn't care about the window being broke out. We had some sounds in that car, and we would just roll to Hollywood freestyling, walking up Sunset, walking up Hollywood Boulevard, meeting people, because we wanted to make it. We were all products of our environment. So we didn't want to fall into the statistic, going to the pen,
Mm-hmm.
doing robberies, doing crime. It just, we balanced it out. We dibbled and we dabbed. But then music, I want to say, it saved all the homegirls.
Okay. So GBN, were you the first member of GBM?
I want to say my homegirl T-Ski. She was the first member of GBM. T-Ski had already knew Eric. She had a great relation with Eric. T-Ski was phenomenal. Her rap skill before Mystical, she was always rah, 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 rah. Like, there's a girl out now, I can't recall her name, but she raps really scar lip or something to.
Okay.
So there's a new type female, and when I hear her, I'm like, wow. In 1993, T-Ski was flipping raps before Mystical. She had this raspy voice. She would rap like she had, like Sybil, more multiple personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So she was already down with Eric, hustling with Eric, and she grew up out of the 30s. So once I came, he goes, yeah, I'm putting this girl group together. Chan was working with Battle Cat. So Battle Cat, shout out to DJ Battle Cat, the producer extraordinaire. She was working with Battle Cat. So Battle Cat had a relation with Eazy-E. So Battle Cat brought Big Chan to Easy. I auditioned by getting on voicemails, leaving multiple messages that landed me a personal meeting with E. And before Diamond was in the group, we had a girl named Asada. She was more like political, kind of like Tupac, but she wasn't on that gang stuff. So once we got with Eazy-E, he branded us the female NWA. So he would come with tracks and beats, and they would have hooks in them, and it was gangster.
Mm.
So Asada was very tight, lyrical. She was a more of a militant rapper, which we thought it balanced our group. We would come across a bigger audience. However, she felt like, I don't fit in with this. Y'all West Coast gangster girls for real. So she ended up not wanting to fall through with the gangster bitch mentality. So then Chan, which knew Diamond, and I knew Diamond, we was like, Diamond, she death rolled out. Corrupt, 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 corrupt. I was like, we could ask her, but it's gonna be a battle with Miss Ice Girl. So Diamond, we got in touch with her, was like, Eazy-E's looking for another member to be in our group. The one girl, Sada, she didn't work out. She was like, ha, I don't want to be second. I'm down with Death Row. And we like, well, we're talking record deals with Ruthless Records. Are they offering any record deals? So Diamond agreed to come to the meeting. So we're all at Ruthless Records. Diamond walks in dressed in Death Row gear. Dressed in, I mean, Death Row hat, Death Row shirt. We like, oh my God. This is during the fuel of Eazy with his revenge to get back for them all dissing him.
Yeah.
So Diamond's in there and she's being hard to work with. Like she wanted some special treatment. So anyway, after all that, the ice was broke. We knew each other. We take Diamond, me and Chan go in the back. We like, check this out. This is a lifetime opportunity. We been knowing you. You the homegirl. We love you. We not about to beg you. Unless Death Row or Dr. Dre finna offer you something, you pass this deal up, we not coming back for you. Diamond was like, okay, I'm going to be in the group. I never forget. Diamond was the most, I want to say, extravagant in the 90s when we were dealing with our record deal. And I never forget when we went to Jerry's Deli before we signed our contracts. Um, Jerry Heller was like, Diamond, who do you think you are? Barbara Streisand? So we just ran with the joke and we'd always tease Diamond like, you are not Diana Ross. We are not the Supremes. But she always had a good energy and would just carry herself like a boss.
Yeah.
So shout out to my homegirl Diamond.
So now so this is in the height of the Death Row beef with Eazy-E.
Yes.
And so and I guess the video Real Compton City G's
Uh-huh.
that came out around the same time.
Yes.
And then she said she didn't show up for the video.
She didn't.
Now, how did Eazy feel about that?
He was like, man, Diamond, she gonna have to pick a side, but Diamond was the artist that had a whole lot of character. Diamond brought drama, you know what I mean? So our group needed a little bit of drama. Her lines and her sound was dope. It was like a female Dr. Dre. So we could never take her gift away from her.
Yeah.
It was just like, here come Diamond. Here comes drama, but in a good way. It wasn't a bad or negative thing at all.
Yeah.
She was a burst of energy, positive, and she always had a crew with her.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
So, GBN didn't work out. Did y'all ever put out any singles or
We had some of
mixtapes?
the best records ever. So during the time when we lost Eazy-E, the label was ran by, I want to say, Tamika. So, I mean, we were going through emotions and heartbreak and loss. You're like 21 years old, your first record deal. We had about a year and a half, maybe 2 good years of working with Eazy. And like, I don't think you could have told any of us that that was going to be the end. We were like, this is the beginning. You can't get any higher than Ruthless Records coming on the West Coast because Death Row was still being branded. Ruthless was established. Death Row was playing their picks and parts and segregation, bringing the gang mentality into the music business. So that was during that era. And I could just remember when I met Eric, he had so much motivation on his new Ruthless Records. I mean, Above the Law, they stayed down. He had Shaky, Cocaine, his writers, MC Ren. That was a big choice. And he stayed loyal to Eric, throughout everything. DJ Yella, his security staff. The team was there, but you could tell inside Eric was a little broken. It was like he was retaliating. He was looking for get back. And it happened, after they continued to diss Eric. he ended up dissing him. And so I was blessed and honored